From this vantage point, you can get a good overview of the scale of the former concentration camp. Tower A was therefore used as a central observation post at the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. It's the summer of 1936, and the Olympic Games are being celebrated in Berlin. Prisoners are brought from the Emsland camps to Sachsenhausen. They have to clear a piece of forest under hard physical labor. An 80-hectare triangular area is created. The Sachsenhausen concentration camp is laid out as a triangle, with Tower A, where we are, as the central control point. You'll notice the visual axes drawn in here. Through these, a comprehensive surveillance of the camp and of the prisoners should be possible. The drawing by Dutch prisoner Jan Bodding shows you how he perceived a crowded roll call area from the prisoner's perspective. You can tap any of the drawings or photos to have a closer look at them. From 1936 to 1937, the construction of the camp will be completed with more than 100 barracks. Here you can see everywhere the barracks stood. During this time, the National Socialists mainly imprison people they consider political opponents. It's 1938, and the National Socialists are carrying out mass arrests. Between June and November of this year alone, the number of prisoners at Sachsenhausen quadruples due to the arrests throughout the German Reich. In June 1938, 6,200 people accused of being work-shy are brought to Sachsenhausen. During the November pogroms of 1938, violent riots against Jews, more than 6,000 Jews are deported to Sachsenhausen concentration camp by the Nazis. Here, there's an epigraph by Heinrich Himmler written in letters that are 2 meters tall. It reads, "There is a way to freedom. Its milestones are obedience, diligence, honesty, order, cleanliness, sobriety, truth, a sense of sacrifice, and love for the fatherland." From the roll call area, the 400-meter-long text is clearly visible to the prisoners. Numerous drawings made by the prisoners after their liberation deal with the contrast between Himmler's words and the violent reality of everyday life in the camp. In 1939, the Nazis begin World War II with the invasion of Poland. People from all invaded nations are being deported to concentration camps. The number of prisoners is therefore increasing abruptly. On the right-hand side, you can see a photo. The propaganda photo from 1941, titled "Roll Call with Machine Gun in the Foreground," details the enormous number of interned prisoners. There are about 10,000 people during this time. Look a little to the left again. There you can see 2 more Nazi propaganda photos. They were taken at a crowded roll call area. During a roll call, the prisoners' chances of survival increase if they blend into the crowd. Those who stand out and are noticeable can easily become targets of abuse and random torture by the SS. The prisoners have to stand and remain at the roll call area in all types of weather, and sometimes deep into the night, in order to be counted until the number is accurate. Because of this, even the prisoners who died overnight have to be carried onto the grounds to be counted. This drawing by an unknown prisoner shows a roll call in the rain. This application will end here for now. There are more time portals on the grounds of the former prisoner camp. You are now standing between the outlines of where the prisoner barracks used to be. You'll see time portals with different years. You can enter a total of 4 portals here. Here, you can see the outlines of the barracks and a propaganda photo showing Soviet prisoners of war. In 1941, after the invasion of the Soviet Union by the Wehrmacht, Soviet prisoners of war are brought to the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Many of them are already dying due to their living conditions in captivity. Here they are locked in unfurnished and unheated barracks. In the fall of 1941, the SS shot and killed over 10,000 Soviet prisoners of war in a matter of weeks. This represents the largest, but not the only, mass murder committed at the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Right at the entrance to the portal, you can see a propaganda photo of prisoners building one of the wooden barracks. For more than a year, the camp is being built and expanded upon. With the simplest of tools and with hard physical labor, the prisoners have to erect the buildings themselves. In 1937, the second ring of barracks is completed. Now there are also functional buildings such as the kitchen and laundry. You can still see these 2 stone buildings in the center of the grounds today. More than 100 private companies are involved in the construction of the camp, and their employees guide and supervise the work of the prisoners. During the course of 1943, the living conditions for the prisoners are deteriorating significantly. Even though the exploitation of their labor is becoming more and more important for the war economy. The barracks are overcrowded. The food rations are becoming fewer. Near the entrance gate, you can see the drawing by the Dutch prisoner Jan Budding from the year 1943. It depicts the precarious situation in the barracks that arose due to mass imprisonment. Originally, the SS planned to accommodate between 150 and 200 prisoners in one barracks. However, after the beginning of World War II in 1939, twice as many people are crammed into one barracks. The SS usually distributes prisoners into single barracks according to their countries of origin and prisoner groups. The survival of the prisoners depends on the food in the camp. This drawing, also by Jan Budding, is a sketch of food distribution in the barracks. In 1942, the prisoners' rations are reduced. The quantity and quality of food is also related to the seasons and supplies in the prisoners' kitchen. Nutritional deprivation has a massive effect on mortality in the camp in the winter of 1942. Permanent malnutrition, combined with forced labor, results in the deaths of more than 500 prisoners every month from September 1942 to February 1943. If you look around to the left and the right, you can see a ring-shaped track around the roll call area. The propaganda photo shows a column of prisoners at exactly this spot. The so-called shoe testing track is a 700-meter-long running track with different surfaces, such as sand, stones, or cement. It's located around the roll call area in the prisoners' camp. Since there's not enough leather in Germany during World War II, German companies are developing shoes from substitute materials. The companies pay a very small fee to the SS. The SS then forces prisoners to test the shoes. These tests take place on this shoe testing track. The prisoners sometimes have to walk for days up to 40 kilometers. Often they carry heavily filled backpacks. The picture that shows prisoners working on the shoe testing track was taken on behalf of Ukrainian prisoner Alexander A. Mogilny. This was the last time portal on the site. We hope that we could give you a new perspective of the site and its history.